Hare Krishna, we will resume. We will start the next chapter, and in this second half, we will discuss the first 8-9 verses of this chapter. These verses, Lord Shiva is offering prayers to the Lord, and it gives us great insights on in the consciousness of a pure devotee. But first we can read the summary that Bimla Prasad, please.
Amrita Saki. Amrita Saki, not?
Yes,
I'm
Prabhu.
reading Mara.
Yeah.
I'm here, Prabhu. You can read.
Okay, you read Mara.
This chapter 12, the Mohini Murti incarnation bewilders Lord Shiva. This chapter describes how Lord Shiva was bewildered upon seeing the beautiful Mohini Murti incarnation of the Supreme Personality Godhead and how he later came to his senses. When Lord Shiva heard about the pastimes performed by the Supreme Personality Godhead Hari in the form of an attractive woman, he mounted his bull and went to see the Lord. Accompanied by his wife Uma and his servants, the Bhudagana or ghost, he approached the lotus feet of the Lord. Lord Shiva offered obeisances to the Supreme Lord as the all-pervading Lord, the universal form, the supreme controller of creation. Creation, the supersoul, the resting place for everyone, and the completely independent cause of all causes. Thus he offered prayers, giving truthful descriptions of the Lord. Then he expressed his desire. The Supreme Personality Godhead is very kind to his devotees. Therefore, to fulfill the desire of his devotee Lord Shiva, he expanded his energy and manifested himself in the form of a very beautiful and attractive woman. Upon seeing this form, even Lord Shiva was captivated. Later, by the grace of the Lord, he controlled himself. This demonstrates that by the power of the Lord's external energy, everyone is captivated by the form of woman in this material world. Again, however, by the grace of the Supreme Personality Godhead, one can overcome the influence of Maya. This was evinced by Lord Shiva, the topmost devotee of the Lord. First he was captivated, but later, by the grace of the Lord, he restrained himself. It is declared in this connection that only a pure devotee can restrain himself from the attractive feature of Maya. Otherwise, once a living entity is trapped by the external feature of Maya, he cannot overcome it. After Lord Shiva was graced by the Supreme Lord, he circumambulated the Lord along with his wife Bhavani and his companions, the ghosts. Then he left for his own abode. Shukadeva Goswami concludes this chapter by describing the transcendental qualities of Uttama Shloka, the Supreme Personality Godhead, and by declaring that one can glorify the Lord by 9 kinds of devotional service, beginning with Shravana Kirtana.
So, thank you very much. Now we will read the first 9 verses, and this contains this glorification of the Supreme Lord by Lord Shiva, and then we will discuss these verses. So the next can read the first verses.
Translations. Yes. First and second. Supreme Goswami said, the Supreme Personality of Godhead Hari, in the form of human, captivated the demons and enabled the demigod to drink the nectar. After hearing of this pastime, Lord Shiva, who is carried by the bull, went to the place where Madhusudana, the Lord, resides, accompanied by his wife Uma and surrounded by his companions and ghosts. Lord Shiva went there to see the Lord Lord's form as a woman. Number two, text number 3. The Supreme Personality of Godhead welcomed Lord Shiva and Uma with a great respect, and after being seated comfortably, Lord Shiva duly worshipped Lord the Lord and smiling spoke as follows. Text number 4. Lord Mahadev said, O chief demigod among the demigods, O all providing Lord, Master of the universe, by your energy you are transformed into the creations. You are the root and effections, cause of everything. You are not material. Indeed, you are the super soul or supreme living force of everything. Therefore, you are the Parameswara, the supreme controller of all controllers.
You can read
Next
also
one.
you can also read the purport, and then we will ask someone else to read. Please.
Okay, perfect. The Supreme Personality of Godhead Vishnu resides within the material world as a Sattva Guna Avadara. Lord Shiva is Tama Guna Avadara. And the Lord Brahma is a Raja Guna Avadara. But although Lord Vishnu is among them, he is not in the same category. Lord Vishnu is a Deva Deva, the chief of all demigods. Since Lord Shiva is in this material world, the energy of the Supreme Lord Vishnu include Lord Shiva and Lord Vishnu is therefore called Jagat YP, the all providing Lord. Lord Shiva is sometimes called Maheshwara, and so people think that Lord Shiva is everything. But here Lord Shiva addressed Lord Vishnu is a Jagat Isa, the master of the universe. Lord Shiva is sometimes called Vishweswara, but here he addressed Lord Vishnu as a Jaganmaya, indicate that even Vishweswara is under the Lord Vishnu control. Lord Vishnu is the master of the spiritual world, yet he controlled the material world, also as stated in Bhagavad Gita, Maya Dakshina Prakriti Suyakti Saram Sacharam. Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva are also sometimes called Iswara, but the supreme Iswara is Lord Vishnu, Lord Krishna. As stated in Brahma Samhita, Iswara, Parama Krishna, the supreme Lord is Krishna. Lord Vishnu, everything is excellent work in the proper order because of Lord Vishnu. Adan, Adantarasata Paramanu Chayanantarasitam. Even Paramanu, the small atom, work because Lord Vishnu is present within them.
Okay.
That's it.
So
Thank you very
the
much.
Lord is a supreme Ishvara is described here, and then someone can read text 5.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Text 5. The manifest, the unmanifest, false ego, and the beginning, maintenance, and annihilation of this cosmic manifestation all comes from you, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But because you are the Absolute Truth, the Supreme Absolute Spirit Soul, the Supreme Brahman, such changes as birth, death, and sustenance do not exist in you.
Purport.
Purport. According to the Vedic mantras, Yatova imani bhutani jayante. Everything is an emanation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. As stated by the Lord Himself in Bhagavad Gita 7.4, Bhumi Rapo Nalo Vayu Khammano Buddhirevacha Ahankara iti yame bhinna prakriti rashtada. Earth, water, fire, air, ether, mind, intelligence, and false ego all together, these eight comprise my separated material energies. In other words, the ingredients of the cosmic manifestation also consist of the energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This does not mean, however, that because the ingredients come from him, he is no longer complete. Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavasishyate. Ishoprashad invocation. Because he is the complete whole, even though so many complete units emanate from him, he remains the complete balance. Thus, the Lord is called Avyaya, inexhaustible. Unless we accept the absolute truth as Achintya Bheda Bheda, simultaneously one and different, we cannot have a clear conception of the absolute truth. The Lord is the root of everything. Aham Adehi Devanam. Bhagavad Gita 10.2. He is the original cause of all the devas or demigods. Aham Sarvasya Prabhavaha. Bhagavad Gita 10.8. Everything emanates from him. In all cases, nominative, objective, positive, negative, and so on, whatever we may conceive of in this entire cosmic manifestation is in fact the Supreme Lord. For him, there are no such distinctions as this is mine and this belongs to someone else, because he is everything. He is therefore called Avyaya, changeless and inexhaustible. Because the Supreme Lord is Avyaya, he is the absolute truth, the fully spiritual Supreme Brahman.
So Krishna, or the Supreme Lord, cannot say this is mine. That's interesting, because he's everything. We hear that we will hear that in the 10th canto. And Krishna teaches Rukmini and says to Rukmini, why did you marry me? You could have married great princes like Sisupal, that I'm a pauper, I don't have anything. Everything belongs to King Ugrasena, and I took shelter in the ocean, he said. Anyway, he continued like that, but later Rukmini will reply and said, yes, you are a pauper, you don't have anything. You can't possess anything because you are everything. And that shows that Rukmini had understood that point. He's everything. And that's bewildering, because in the 12th canto, at the end of the 11th canto, 12th canto, Lord Krishna leaves his pastimes, and he leaves his so-called body. But he cannot leave his body because he's everything. So that is bewildering for the conditioned soul to understand this. And to understand that, Srila Prabhupada writes in the purport here, you cannot understand that if you don't understand the principle of Asintya Bheda Bheda Tattva. How Krishna is one and different at the same time with his cosmic manifestation. So that's inconceivable to us. How one can become one and different. Good. Text 6. Someone else can read text 6, please. Translation and purport. Yeah. Please. Please go on.
Pure devotees or great genuine persons who desire to achieve the highest goal in life and who are completely free from all material desires for sense gratification engage constantly in the transcendental service of your Lotus feet.
Mm-hmm.
Shall I read the purport also, Maharaj?
Yes, please.
One is in the material world when he thinks, I am this body and everything with reference to my body is mine. Ato griha kshetra sudapta vitte janasya moho ayam aham mameti. This is a symptom of material life. In the materialistic conception of life, one thinks, this is my house, this is my land, this is my family, this is my state, and so on. But those who are Muneyaha, saintly persons following in the footsteps of Narada Muni, simply engage in the transcendental loving service of the Lord without any personal desire for sense gratification. Anya Bhilashda Shunyam Jnana Karma.
Anavitam. So either in this life or in the next, the only concern of such saintly devotees is to serve.
So there's some internet connection problem was there, I think. Sorry.
Okay, you can continue.
Yeah, either in this life or in the next, the only concern of such saintly devotees is to serve the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Thus, they are also absolute because they have no other desires. Being freed from the dualities of material desires, they are called Shreyas Kamaha. In other words, they are not concerned with dharma, religiosity, artha, economic development, or kama, sense gratification. The only concern of such devotees is moksha, liberation. This moksha does not refer to become one with the Supreme, like the Mayavadi philosophers. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu explained that real moksha means taking shelter of the lotus feet of the personality of Godhead. The Lord clearly explained this fact while instructing Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya wanted to correct the word Mukti Parabade in Srimad Bhagavatam, but Chaitanya Mahaprabhu informed him that there is no need to correct any word in Srimad Bhagavatam. He explained that Mukti Pade refers to the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vishnu, who offers Mukti and is therefore called Mukunda. A pure devotee is not concerned with material things. He is not concerned with religiosity, economic development, or sense gratification. He is interested only in serving the lotus feet of the Lord. Thank you very much, Hare
Yeah.
Krishna.
So, Srila Prabhupada explains the purity in consciousness of a devotee is only interesting to please the Lord and is not asking anything for oneself, just to be engaged in the service of the Lord. Like Lord Chaitanya says that na danam na chan na sundarim kavtava shri sakami mama chamami chamamishvai bhavati bhaktara haitkitva. I do not want followers. I don't want 12, or I don't want relationship with the opposite sex. That I even don't want liberation, he said. I just want to serve the Supreme Lord life after life. So that's the real liberation. If one attains that consciousness, then one enters the internal service of the Lord. And it's up to the Lord where he decides, where he wants his pure devotee to serve. That can someone else read text 7, please?
Hare Krishna Maharaj, Tamil Pranam.
Hare Krishna.
Text number 7. Translation. My Lord, you are the Supreme Brahman, complete in everything. Being completely spiritual, you are eternal, free from the material modes of nature, and full of transcendental bliss. Indeed, for you there is no question of lamentation. Since you are the supreme cause, the cause of all causes, nothing can exist without you. Yet, we are different from you in a relationship of cause and effect. For, in one sense, the cause and effect are different. You are the original cause of creation, manifestation, and annihilation, and you bestow benedictions upon all living entities. Everyone depends upon you for the results of his activities, but you are always independent.
Sorry.
Purport?
Yes. Go on.
The Supreme Personality of Godhead says in Bhagavad Gita 9.4, Maya tatamitam sarvam jagat avyaktamurtina matstani sarvabhutani nachaham teshvavastitaha. By me, in my unmanifested form, this entire universe is pervaded. All beings are in me, but I am not in them. This explains the philosophy of simultaneous oneness and difference, known as Achintya Bheda. Everything is the Supreme Brahman, the personality of Godhead, yet the Supreme Person is differently situated from everything. Indeed, because the Lord is differently situated from everything material. He is the Supreme Brahman, Supreme Cause, the Supreme Controller. Ishvara Parama Krishna Sachidananda Vigraha, Brahma Samhita 5.1. The Lord is the Supreme Cause and His form has nothing to do with the material modes of nature. The devotee prays, as your devotee is completely free from all desires, your Lordship is also completely free from desires. You are fully independent. Although all living entities engage in your service, you do not depend on the service of anyone. Although this material world is created completely by you, everything depends on your sanction. As stated in Bhagavad Gita, Matta Smritar Jnanam Apoha Nuncha. Bhagavad Gita 15.15. Remembrance, knowledge, and forgetfulness come from you. Nothing can be done independently. Yet you act independently of the service rendered by your servants. The living entities depend on your mercy for liberation. But when you want to give them liberation, you do not depend on anyone else. Indeed, by your causeless mercy. Indeed, by your causeless mercy, you can give liberation to anyone. Those who receive your mercy are called Kripa Siddha. To reach the platform of perfection takes many lives. Bahunam Janmanam Ante Jnanavan Mam Prapadyate. Bhagavad Gita 7.19. Nonetheless, even without undergoing severe austerities, one can attain perfection by your mercy. Devotional service should be unmotivated and free from impediments. Ahaituki apratikata ya atma suprasidati. This is a position of nirashishaha or freedom from expectation for results. If your devotee continuously offers transcendental loving service to you, but you may nonetheless offer mercy to anyone without depending on his service. Thank you, Maharaj.
So that's interesting, this Kripa Siddha, getting the mercy of the Lord. Practically, the devotional service is a process to get mercy of the Lord. That we make spiritual advancement only by the mercy of the Supreme Lord, but that mercy is followed by the mercy of the spiritual master. That's how do we get spiritual realization, and how is that related with the mercy of the Lord? That Krishna says in 10.10 of Bhagavad Gita, Tesham satayuktanam bhajtam pritabhavakam dadami buddhyogam tam yena mam upayanti te. If we serve the Lord with a little love, then the Dhammi, He gives us Buddhi Yoga, realization through the heart. He says in the next verse, through the heart, Tesham evana kampratamam jnana chamtama nasajame bhavasto jnana dipana bhashvata. With the jnana dipana, this lamp of knowledge, I burn away all the impurities within the heart. So that is Krishna's mercy. But that Krishna's mercy comes when we perform Priti Purvakam, a little love, but in a conditioned state we don't have even this little love. We don't even know what love is. But Krishna accepts our service to the spiritual master as a little love. And if we follow the instructions of the spiritual master, Krishna, sincerely Krishna will purify our heart. So that's the principle, this Kripa Siddha, how to become Kripa Siddha, get the mercy of the spiritual master. Then this mercy is there. Like when a devotee asks Srila Prabhupada, because in the Srimad Bhagavatam, in the third canto at the end, it is said that 333.7. So, how glorious are they whose tongues are chanting your holy name? Even if born in families of dog eaters, such persons are worshipable. Persons who chant the holy name of your Lordship must have executed all kinds of austerities, fire sacrifices, achieved all the good manners by the Aryans. To be chanting the holy name of your Lordship, they must have bathed at holy place of pilgrimage and studied the Vedas and fulfilled everything required. When the devotees asked Srila Prabhupada, did we really do that in our previous life? Did we do all these austerities, study all the Vedas and all these sacrifices? Prabhupada replied, don't worry about that. I did them for you. So that means that it's by Srila Prabhupada's mercy, that Krishna's mercy, that's equal. We are making spiritual advancement. So that's an important principle, that Krishna consciousness is a process to get the mercy of the Lord. That and it doesn't depend on our austerities and all these things. But we must get the mercy. But if we perform Vaidhi-sadhana bhakti, follow the rules and regulations under as impetus, the instruction of the spiritual master, that's the process to get the mercy. Text 8. Someone can read text 8. Next one.
My dear Lord, your Lordship alone is the cause and the effect. Therefore, although you appear to be two, you are absolute one. As there is no difference between the gold of a golden ornament and the gold in a mine, there is no difference between the cause and effect. Both of them are the same. Only because of ignorance do people concoct differences and dualities. You are free from material contamination. And since the entire cosmos is caused by you and cannot exist without you, it is an effect of your transcendental qualities. Thus, the conception that Brahma is true and the world is false cannot be maintained.
Yes. That yes, the cause must be in the result. Krishna is true, so his creation must also be true. and this duality, yes, the difference between the cause and effect, both of them are the same, and then this duality, because we are equal in quality of the Lord, like a golden ornament and the gold in the mine, it's both gold. So Krishna is Satchitananda, the soul is also Satchitananda. But we forget that by our absorption in the duality of good and bad for the body and the mind in this world. And that's the cause of our problems. We become entangled in this material world by this attachment and aversion. Now we have here a purport. So, Bimla Prabhu, you can continue reading the purport. Yes.
Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says that the living entities are representations of the Supreme Personality of Godhead's marginal potency, whereas the various bodies accepted by the living entities are products of the material energy. Thus, the body is considered material and the soul is considered spiritual. The origin of them both, however, is the same Supreme Personality of Godhead. As the Lord explains in Bhagavad Gita 7, 4 and 5, Bhumirapalanavayo vayu kammano buddhirevacha ahankaramitiam vinna pratyakshashtada aparayam istatu anyam prakriti vriddhi met param jiva bhutam mahabaho yedam dharyate jagat. Earth, water, fire, air, ether, mind, intelligence and false ego. All together, these eight comprises my separated material energies. But besides this inferior nature, O mighty armed Arjuna, there is a superior energy of mind which consists of all living entities who are struggling with material nature and are sustaining the universe. Thus, both matter and the living entities are manifestations of energy of the Supreme Lord. Since the energy and the energetic are not different, and since the material and marginal energies are both energies of the Supreme Energetic, the Supreme Lord, ultimately the Supreme Personality of Godhead is everything. In this regard, the example may be given of gold that has not been molded and gold that has been molded into various ornaments. A gold earring and the gold in a mine are different only as cause and effect. Otherwise, they are the same. Vedanta Sutra describes the Brahma as is the cause of everything. Janmadya Seta, even Bhagavatam 111, everything is born of the Supreme Brahma, from which everything emanates as different energies. None of these energies, therefore, should be considered false. The Mayavadi's differentiation between Brahma and Maya is only due to ignorance. Srimad Viragavacharya, in his Bhagavad Chandra Chandrika, describes the Vaishnava philosophy as follows. The cosmic manifestation is described as Sat and Asat, and Chit and Achit. Matter is Achit, and living force is Chit. but their origin is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, in whom there is no difference between matter and spirit. According to this conception, the cosmic manifestation consisting of both matter and spirit is not different from the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Idam hi Vishwam Bhagwan Ivetara. This cosmic manifestation is also the Supreme Personality of Godhead, although it appears different from Him. In Bhagavad Gita 9.4, the Lord says, Maya tatam idam sarvam jagyata murtina matsthani sarvabhutani na chaham teshu avastita. By me, in my manifested form, this entire universe is pervaded. All beings are in me, but I am not in them. Thus, although someone may say that the Supreme Person is different from the cosmic manifestation, actually he is not. The Lord says, Maya tatam idam sarvam. In my impersonal feature, I am spread throughout the world. Therefore, this world is not different from Him. The difference is a difference in names. For example, whether we speak of gold earrings, gold bangles, or gold necklaces, ultimately they are all gold. In a similar way, all the different manifestations of matter and spirit are ultimately one in the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Ekam avidvityam Brahma. This is the Vedic version, Chandogya Upanishad 6.2.1. There is oneness because of everything emanates from the Supreme Brahma. The example already given is that there is no difference between a golden earring and the gold mine as it is. The Vaisheshika philosophers, however, because of their Mayavad conception, create differences. They say Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithya. The absolute is real and the cosmic manifestation is false. But why should the Jagat be considered Mithya? The Jagat is an emanation from Brahma. Therefore, the Jagat is also truth. Vaishnavas, therefore, do not consider the Jagat to be Mithya. Rather, they regard everything as reality in connection with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Anasaktasya Vishyanithanam Upayanjata Nirbandhe Krishna Sambandhe Yukta Vairagyam Uchate. Prapanchika Buddhaya Hari Sambandha Vastuna Mumukshubi Parityago Vairagyam Phalgukateyate. Things should be accepted for the Lord's service and not for one's personal sense gratification. If one accepts something without attachment and accepts it because it is related to Krishna, one's renunciation is called Yukta Vairagyam. Whatever is favorable for the rendering of service to the Lord should be accepted and should not be rejected as a material thing. Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 1-55-56. The Jagat should not be rejected as mithya. It is truth. And the truth is realized when everything is engaged in the service of the Lord. A flower accepted for one's sense gratification is material. But when the same flower is offered to the Supreme Personality of Godhead by a devotee, it is spiritual. Food taken and cooked for oneself is material, but food cooked for the Supreme Lord is spiritual prasad. This is a question of realization. Actually, everything is given by the Supreme Personality of Godhead and therefore everything is spiritual. But those who are not advanced in proper knowledge make distinctions because of the interactions of the three modes of material nature. In this regard, Jiva Goswami says that although the sun is the only light, the sunshine, which is exhibited in 7 colors, and darkness, which is the absence of sunshine, are not different from the sun. For without the existence of the sun, such differentiations cannot exist. There may be varied nomenclature because of different conditions, but they are all the sun. The Puranas therefore say, Ekadesha Stitagner Josna Vistarini Yatha Parasya Brahmana Shaktish Tadedam Akhilam Jagat. In Vishnu Puran 122:56, just as the illumination of a fire which is situated in one place is spread all over, the energies of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Parabrahma, is spread all over this universe. Materially, we can directly perceive the sunshine spreading itself according to different names and activities. But ultimately, the sun is one. Similarly, Sarva Kalvedam Brahma, everything is an expansion of the Supreme Brahma. Therefore, the Supreme Lord is everything, and He is one without differentiation. There is no existence separate from the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
Thank you. So, if we realize that philosophy, then you become an Uttam Adhikar. You see only Krishna anymore. not the material manifestation. You see Krishna in everything. And that is the factual reality. That we see matter as different from Krishna, and then it will degrade us. But if we see matter as Krishna's energy to be used in his service, then that same matter becomes a cause of liberation. Yes, Bimla Prasad Prabhu, enlighten us.
No, Maharaj, I just wanted a clarification.
Yeah.
Please enlighten. So this idea, when it says that that kind of the Uttamadhikari, he sees Krishna everywhere. So for a person who is not Uttamadhikari, so is it like he needs to practice to see Krishna everywhere? So then one day he sees Krishna everywhere? That's the what is like keeping him away?
That I've been trained in preaching by Prahlad Nanda Maharaj. It's one of the most senior devotees of Prabhupada. He joined in 1968. And I was traveling with him in the Balkan states from 2001 till 2014. I was his assistant. 3-4 months we traveled every year together. And in the evening he would give class. And then I would give class on the same verse of Bhagavad Gita, each 20 minutes. And afterwards he would give me feedback on my preaching, sometimes sweet, sometimes not so sweet. But I learned how to preach according to Siddhanta. And once I gave a class about feeling the presence of the super soul within. and after the class, he said to me, "Do you think Krishna is only in your heart? He's not outside?" That we have to learn. Krishna is in our heart, but is in every cell, is between every cell. He is the cosmic creation, factually. But realizing that is a process. What keeps us back on realizing that is our absorption in this duality of good and bad in this material world. And this absorption is caused by lust. And lust comes from material desires, anarthas. So as the anarthas start to go, we start to see everything as a mercy of Krishna and start to connect with Krishna, everything. So it's a process. It's not a philosophical consideration. It's a purification of the heart. If the heart becomes purified, we start to see everything in connection with Krishna. So that is the reality. It's a process of purification of the heart. And then when we come out of these dualities, coming out of these dualities means seeing Krishna everywhere. That then the duality is gone. Yes, that it takes a while. It doesn't happen overnight, but day by day we become Krishna conscious. We think we are not making advancement. So I look in the mirror, I see my face, and the next day I see the same face, and I think I'm not becoming older. But if I look at a picture 20 years ago, 40 years ago, big difference. That spiritual advancement is like this. Every day by hearing we change a bit. We start to see more and more Krishna in this world. It's a gradual process. We will read one more verse and then discuss these verses. Someone wants to read 9. This is verse 9. Yeah. Yeah,
Okay,
first
shall I read translation once?
you can read the translation already.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so those who are known as the impersonalist Vedantists regard you as the impersonal Brahman. Others, known as the Mimamsaka philosophers, regard you as religion. The Sankhya philosophers regard you as a transcendental person who is beyond Prakriti and Purusha, and who is the controller of even the demigods. The followers of the course of devotional service, known as the Pancharatras, regard you as being endowed with 9 different potencies. And the Patanjali philosophers, the followers of Patanjali Muni, regard you as the supreme independent personality of Godhead, who has no equal to you.
Thank you. I want to see first how long this, there is no purport. Huh? Okay, we will stop here and go to the PowerPoint. Here it is. PowerPoint. On the slideshow. So that's our chapter. The cause and effect we heard about. The root cause provides the ingredients. The efficient cause puts them together. Then see. The root cause, so the root cause provides the ingredients. That's Mahavishnu. Mahavishnu gives the root cause just by glancing over Brahman, by his glance he puts into Brahman the 3 modes of nature unmanifested. Then he injects time by his glance. Then he injects the living entities. And then the material creation starts by the material desires of the living entities. The equilibrium in the 3 modes breaks and it starts to move and it becomes the Mahatattva. So Mahavishnu provides ingredients by his glance is the root cause. Efficient cause. Pradhan is the effect or efficient cause. The root cause is Mahavishnu. Why is this important? Why is Lord Shiva saying all these verses? 10.7 Bhagavad Gita. Understanding the Lord's opulence leads one to engagement in unalloyed devotional service. That's 10.7 of Bhagavad Gita. 10.7. Yeah, 10.7. One who is actively convinced of this opulence and mystic power of mine engages in unalloyed devotional service. Of this there is no doubt. If we really know Krishna, we will engage in his service. And therefore it's very important that if we want to have a relationship with Krishna, we must know who Krishna is. You can't have a relationship with someone you don't know. Of course, we cannot know Krishna fully, but we can know and hear about his position. And that little hearing about him will lead us to unalloyed devotional service. That's why Lord Shiva is saying all these verses for us to learn. That if you have all this knowledge, then how to practically apply this? So first, Krishna is the source of is the source. It's not these energies, but the energies come from the Lord. So we need to worship the Lord. And if everything is Krishna, then we should always think of Krishna. Whoever we see, whomever we meet, should remind us of Krishna, because there is only Krishna in this world. And therefore everything should be used in Krishna's service. So we should not exploit anyone or anything for our self-interest. Therefore, the lotus feet of you who manifest in these different ways are worshipable. Shiva Goswami comments, desiring ultimate happiness, ultimate auspiciousness, means desiring whatever is suitable for bhakti. Desireless means desiring nothing but bhakti. Hope against hope. As our sadhana is not perfect, we are trying, but we need also mercy. Purport, text 7. Yeah, that's hope against hope. Once Bhaktisiddhanta Sarasvati Maharaj was in his room at the temple, and the devotees outside the room were discussing something, and Maharaj came outside and was asking, what are you discussing? And when the devotee said, Guru Maharaj, I'm practicing and chanting now for so long, and I'm not making any advancement. That hope against hope, that I'm not making any advancement. Of course, the Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Maharaj said, that's very good. If you think you have become a great devotee, then that's not so good. You would be in great danger. Of course, if we are not making sufficiently advancement, then we should question why. Why are we not making advancement? Then the question comes up, did we surrender sufficiently to Krishna? So we have here the example of Gajendra. He surrendered to Krishna. Was in great difficulty. Also Sukadeva Goswami in the womb was in difficulty. He also surrendered to Krishna. So these are examples of Kripa Siddha, those who get the mercy of Krishna. If we surrender to Krishna, then we will get the Kripa, the mercy. So these are examples of Kripa Siddha devotees. Gajendra, he was suffering like anything, but he surrendered to the Supreme Lord. Even in his suffering, he was offering a flower. He was rescued by the Lord. Sukadeva Goswami in the womb. He didn't want to come out. Krishna promised him, you will be liberated. That's service. That is Kripa Siddhi. And the Jagyapatnis, the wives of the Brahmins, when they went to Krishna and they offered all these presentations, these food preparations, Krishna said, you go back to your husbands and serve them. And you should perform your sadhana. And you will get my mercy. And when they went back, they were completely liberated. Had no interest in their husband anymore. and their husband accepted them as their gurus. That is Kripa Siddhi, mercy of Krishna. So in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Adya Lila, 8.5. By remembering the lotus feet of the Panchatattva, a dumb man can become a poet, a layman can cross the mountains, and a blind man can see the stars in the sky. So when you chant the names of Gauranga, then everything what becomes difficult becomes easy. That's you can try it out. Let me know what happens. But if you do it with faith, sure, Lord Chaitanya and his associates will bestow all their mercy upon you. Why can the conception that Brahman is true and the world is false not be maintained? That was text 8. Because Krishna is Satyam, is truth. Everything that emanates from this world comes from Satyam and must therefore also be Satyam. And we have all heard the analogy of the gold and the gold mine. So, and then in text 9 we have different philosophies. Impersonalist, Vedantist, they see you as the impersonal Brahman. The Vaisheshikas see the universe as a bunch of atoms. Nyaya from Gautama, the native logic. We are not this, we are not that, and finally we are spiritual. Karma Mimamsa, the goal of life is to create good karma. There is only rotation in the cycle of birth and death, and karma is supreme, so perform good karma, you will have a good birth and so on. And Sankhya, they see the source is Pradhan, but that is the Sankhya from the faulty Kapiladev, the cheater. Because the real Sankhya starts with Krishna. But they start in the middle, the Pradhan, but they cannot explain where the Pradhan comes from. And the Pancharatmas, the devotional service in 9 forms. Anyway, that is for next time. So any question or comment? We have 5 to 10 minutes. Okay. If there are no comments, then next time we will start with reading the story of the bewildering of Lord Shiva, that by Mohini Murti, that, okay, Ati Chandra Govinda.
Thanks so much, Pranam Maharaj. Actually, I want to ask a little deviated from this subject what we discussed today, but though it is said in the introduction or the first summary is given in Srila Prabhupada in the 12th chapter. Actually, in South India, especially in Kerala, there is a demigod called Ayyappa. I don't know whether you have heard. I think many of the devotees who are sitting in this group might have heard about this. And the Sthala Purana, I'm not sure about whether Sthala Purana talks about that or not, but it is said to be that that Ayyappa is the son of Lord Shiva and Lord Vishnu when he took the Mohini Rupa. So, of course, Bhagavatam doesn't say that there's a boy or there's the baby is taken birth when the Lord Vishnu took the Mohini Rupa and Lord Shiva when he's attracted to that form. I just want to ask that whether any other scripture or any other Purana talks about this, or whether how can we get a proper evidence that whether it is said or not. Because in Kerala, while preaching, what happens to us is that first of all the communism, and rest is the Mayavada philosophy because of Shankaracharya, And the third, this is an entrance. This is like 90% of the people are behind this Ayyappa, and there's a season for that. He has got a temple in the middle of the forest, and there's a season. People go there. There is a 41 days vrata they observe. So many things are happening. So how can we find? I don't know whether your Holiness knows about this, or how can we find out such things? Because I did research on this, but I couldn't find any Purana talks about that. But people say that here said that say this is. But Srimad Bhagavatam is the main proof for us, and it doesn't say about that. There's a baby is born when through between Lord Shiva and Mohini Rupa. This is really strong belief in the group of the people in Kerala, and they all. I don't know how to convince people. So, how can we find out if you have some source we can find it out, or if your Holiness knows about anything this. Can you just give some reference so that when we preach, we can use this for that, making the people convinced.
Yeah.
I'm sorry if I'm reading the subject also.
Yeah, it's very interesting. Is it from the scriptures or is it the local belief? That is always the question.
It's a local belief, it is.
Yeah. Of course, my knowledge is restricted to Prabhupada's teachings and he doesn't speak about that. But I'm also a member of the Shastic Advisory Council, and I know there are a few Indian members. Hariprasad, probably, I think. He knows many of these scriptures, Indian scriptures, which we don't know. Well, I think his name is Hariprasad. Not sure. Hariprasad, yeah. He knows many of the scriptures. He's a born Brahmin and he's keen to, and he comes with brilliant explanations sometimes. Maybe he knows that, but it's interesting. It may be good to know whether it's in the scriptures or not. Thank you.
Okay, can we have a Can I check with him? Is it possible? Or should I contact him?
Yeah, you can contact him. That I don't have his email, but I think in India everyone knows him. You will surely try to find out where you can contact him. Maybe he knows a lot of these things. That's Ananda Dulalpo, that you are the last one.
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Yes.
Regarding this Ayyappa mission, we are asking His Holiness Bhanu Maharaj regarding this matter. In Malaysia also there have been some followers. Then he said, Brahma, I don't know, he said. He already passed through, he said he never go through about Ayyappa's story, anything. He didn't get anything. He said he never read any Purana Sastras.
Okay. He read a lot of Puranas. And it's interesting. If he doesn't know, then most probably it will be local belief. That Bhimna Prasad Prabhu.
Maharaj, of course, in South India, as he says, Prabhu said, Ayyappa, because there are bus loads of people, everybody going to this and chanting this Ayyappa, Ayyappa, Ayyappa. It's like, it's like that. It's like, it's like those, it's like those, having those rallies, people are rallying around with this Ayyappa thing. Basically, a village demigod, as far I understand, is like close to that Sabrimala place. They do that. And yes, in the Sthala Purans, you just can't believe those Sthala Purans. It's like you said, anybody can write a Sthala Puran.
Yeah. Good.
If there is no Sthala Puran, there's no Sthala Puran says that. It's like word to word, mouth to mouth people talk about this. Even I cannot just say like that because I also, once upon a time, I was also a believer of that. I've been to Shabarimala 8 times. before coming to Krishna consciousness. So this is a common belief in this area.
The point, yeah, I just wanted to okay, maybe that reminds me, like maybe I should add more. You see the Puranic encyclopedia, they're like, in Puranic encyclopedia, they do mention about Ayyappa. But that's the position that has been relegated. It's just like a village demigod. It's nothing more than that. Not like such a, like such an esoteric personality coming from the union of Shiva and Vishnu. He's almost jacking up him to the position of like Dattatreya. He's not like that.
Okay, we will close here. Interesting discussion.
Now he has become an international demigod. No, from local demigod is becoming international. Thank you, Maharaj, and thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Thank you for the inputs.
Looking forward to see you tomorrow. Hare Krishna. Jai Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna, Maharaj. Thank you very much, Maharaj.
Hare Krishna.